I hop on my bike and head out of town, not really knowing where I'm going, just following the coast. I get a photo opportunity at South Australia's most southerly point, only 3,200 kilometres to Perth, not that far. The coastline was all limestone rock and looked pretty inhospitable for camping. I take a side road, looking for a suitable spot. I go through a series of small towns, Blackfellows Caves, Pelican Point and Carpenter's Rocks. I notice a lot of Aussie flags flying above well-appointed beach shacks. The Aussie dream, a bit of land by the coast, a boat and an aquatic wonderland in which to harvest the ocean's bounty. After the 2005 Cronulla riots, the Aussie flag became a symbol of patriotism. Cronulla is the only suburb in Sydney with beach access by train for the western suburbs. Lebanese gangs clashed with the Anglo-Celtic inhabitants of Cronulla's southern shire. The flag became a symbol of this clash and has since been used by other anti-immigration groups, but I doubt the houses displaying flags here had similar motives. Cronulla was a long way away from these small subsistence fishing villages, and race relations were not an issue in this salt bush backwater. I find a camp near Carpenter's Rocks and set up early to allow my gear to dry. I visit the local pub, but only have one pint. It was newly renovated, had no real character, and the locals kept to themselves in a tight huddle at one end of the bar. The next morning I went up on the foreshore and took some photos. Prime real estate, right on the beach. Most of the houses were fibro shacks, but a few had the look of cashed up retiree dwellings. A woman walked out of an impressive bluestone building that had a spire roof like a church. We got talking. She was interested in my trip. Her husband had a BMW, but was now too old to hold the beast up. We talked lobster prices, $95 a kilo off the boat. I asked her if there was anywhere I could buy one local. She said I'd be hard pushed, unless I knew a local. She seemed to enjoy the chance to talk and ended up showing me her veggie garden, which was impressive given the sandy soil and salt air. I bid her a wave goodbye and headed towards Mount Gambier. My morning inspection revealed a bolt had come loose on the cross brace supporting my 30-litre tank, so I needed to find a hardware shop. I took a detour to view the Blue Lake and then got my bolt and moved on. I think on this trip I will mainly try to avoid bigger cities. It's not much fun weaving through traffic on a fully packed bike. I make a plan to get to Penola and suss out the chance of doing a promo video for one of the local Coonawarra wineries. I visited the Grand Penola pub, 5:30pm and completely empty. Something's wrong here. The place is immaculate and yet not a soul to be seen. I go further down the road and find another pub full of locals. It's happy hour, so cheap drinks and nibbles on the bar. I sit down next to an old-timer, 85-year-old Ralph. I see he has a hearing aid, so I raise my voice when I speak to him. He, on the other hand, speaks in whispered tones, which made it hard for me to hear a word, particularly after a day of riding without earplugs. When you ride long distances, the wind noise can really lead to fatigue. I must remember to start wearing earplugs. Ralph was a retired mechanic. He told me, "When you get to my age, you're the only one left." He was a good 20 years older than anyone else in the bar, and it was good to see him out and about, a night away from his nursing home room. I decided to ride on after 2 mid-strength beers. The weather was mild, and there was at least 2 hours more light. I ride through the Coonawarra wine region, famous for its rich Terra Rossa clay soil which forms from weathered limestone and provides ideal drainage for grape growing. I'd been told the government had spent money on the Barossa this year, so I'd be better visiting there for work. Anyway, a mate was heading to Adelaide, and I decided to meet him at Bordertown and get rid of some gear. I find a campsite at Bull Lagoon. I was supposed to prepay online, $9 for a day pass and $9 to camp. $18 and no shower? A little rich, I thought. It seems the days of free camping are a thing of the past. Bloody itinerant bikers. Free as a bird, camp where you stop. Cheek of you. I wake up early and decide to head off into a light fog. I planned on visiting the Narracourt Library that morning to check up on a few things. My mate who was supposed to meet me in Bordertown was now not leaving till later, so I wasn't sure what to do. It was a weekend, so do I just hang around and wait? I speak with a friend on Facebook. It's her 40th birthday. I tell her I'm sorry I couldn't make it to a party. I'm 280 kilometres away. She said, I haven't heard a good excuse yet. Alison manages a restaurant at Club Warrnambool, a gentlemen's members club harking back to 1873, a remnant from a time past based on London's gentlemen's clubs. The club still has a private members bar, but now also has a restaurant open for all. I knew Alison would put on a great show, and she was right. A 4-hour motorcycle ride wasn't a good excuse. So I have a bite to eat and hit the road, stopping only at Coleraine for a Big M and a Kit Kat. It was a great ride, everything went well. I was on top of my game, taking every corner with ease, and the doctor didn't miss a beat. The party was a lavish affair and gave me a chance to test out my new camera in low light. Everyone was dressed in suits and dresses. I only had one pair of clean shorts, so it was formal upstairs with a freshly ironed shirt and party downstairs with shorts and work boots. Alison didn't mind. She was happy I could make it. There's something nice about a 40th. By this age, people are comfortable in their own skin. They're not out to impress anyone, they know exactly what they like. And Alison, in true form as a natural host, put on an outstanding night. I'm glad I could capture a special day with my camera. I got a text from my brother. My mum had been taken to hospital in an ambulance. Some heart problem after a fall earlier in the week. I decided the next day to ride back to Ararat, exactly where I started, a week earlier.